everyone, welcome to another Resetted Mind. You probably recognize the cicadas from the previous two videos. I'm still recording. Anyway, let's begin. I reset again, but this time into essentially a new world entirely. I created an entire species of creatures. Oh, 3 actually. And all the species that would exist on our planets. Everything was, well, interesting. And I reset as a plant creature that lived in a very special solar system. It was multiple light years away right now. But eventually it would be close enough to go to the solar system that contained Earth. Human's planet. I was once again a non-human creature. I seem to do this quite a lot. And, well, I just enjoyed it. It was interesting, being a creature that wasn't human. The first 50 years of my life were boring. I was literally stuck inside of the ground. Then, when I finally came out to the ground and ventured into a city, essentially, but it was more of a village of other creatures of this same species. There I learned things about this species that I didn't exactly plan, as I simply put down the basis. A little bit of history, what everything was like, and what was supposed to happen within this life. Then, suddenly, something new had happened. We were going to Earth. I excitedly wanted to join, and because I was top of my class, they allowed me. Also, because I made it so they wouldn't really have anything else to do, as this entire world would then be reset if they failed to do what I wanted. And I had to suffer through more 50 years of boredom. Did you realize how stupid that kind of sounds? Then we quickly arrived on Earth. Earth appeared much prettier than I had imagined on my first life. It was much prettier than my first, second, or third life. This was my 4th life. And you guys may be getting bored about this. But hey, I like making more lives for myself. I allowed things to happen. I simply watched human beings and wrote about what I saw about them. I said that human beings are the intelligent creatures on planet Earth. Their star is called Sun, and the other planets are things I don't remember, because I never remember planet names, because I suck at things like that. Somebody has their light on. What? Their light on. Okay, that's just odd. Huh. Anyway, eventually, human beings caught on to me and saw me for the first time. They didn't recognize me as anything they'd ever seen before. I was just, well, much too strange. So when the first few human beings saw me, they didn't think I was there. They thought I was fake. Either that, or they were enjoying themselves, and they were children. I mean, one of them was a child. And because their parents just told them, hey, you're just imagining things, they didn't believe it. I watched. Eventually, I was brought away from my main campsite and brought to a lab. They were curious. Human beings had never seen a creature like me before. I had to explain that I wasn't from planet Earth. I was an alien species. I'd simply come there to see if it was a good enough place to start living on. I stated that because the atmosphere was so carbon dioxide rich, it was an easy place for my species to start. Especially if they were going to start into, well, this solar system. Then they began asking me more and more stupid questions. Like, what are you? Or, where is your star? Or, other things. I got quickly tired, as the area had no natural light. And without light, and without soil, I was essentially removed from everything that I could use. This I hadn't imagined yet. Can we please go somewhere outside? I asked, looking at them. What? Why? They said, looking at me. Because I can't continue answering questions or possibly even stay alive without soil beneath my feet and a star above my head. I am a plant, after all. I need starlight. And I also need the nutrients from soil. They eventually let me out when I noticeably couldn't answer anything. Simply started falling asleep. I couldn't really do anything without this energy. They brought me outside and placed my feet on the ground. I was able to sink them right in. It was very easy for me to sink them in and root myself in a single spot. Because the sun was above me. I was able to answer more. And on with their questions. One after another, stupidly asking me things. I was bored of these questions. I didn't want to hear them any longer. I found them dumb. So eventually I said, I don't know everything, If you want to know more than what I know, just ask an elder. They're way older than me. Heck, I'm only 100 years old. And they looked at me astonished and said, 100? You're 100 years old? That's not young at all. And I stared at them like they were stupid. I said, what do you mean 100's not old at all? Yes, 100 is young. How is that possible? They said. They continued to stare. I'm a plant, you dum-dums, I said, frowning. Wait, if you're 100 and that's considered young, how old are the elders? Well, I started. One of them, the elder of my village, is 17,000 years old. Another elder in another village, I believe the oldest one we have nearby, is 23,000 years old. Then we also have another elder that's much farther away, and it's probably the oldest on the planet for our species, and for elders, of course. Actually, I believe it's the oldest one in the entirety of it. I believe he's 59,000 years old. They looked at me astonished. What? I said. What's with your faces? You look weird. We're just surprised. That's all, they said. We weren't, expecting such an old creature, or creatures who exist. Have you ever known about Earth? I looked at them and said, only for about 6,000 years. That's adulthood, I believe. We've only seen this planet for a while now. For a short while, in terms of, well, plant years. Plant years are obviously longer than living years, I guess. But, yeah. Our 3 planets travel around our star about the same speed as your planet. Has around the same amount of days and takes around the same amount of time in order to have a day and night cycle. Wait. You were talking about those 3 planets earlier, said one of the scientists. Why is there 3 inhabitable planets? And what's about them? Well, each one houses a different intelligent species. Mine is on the main planet, or I'll label it as the main one, but there's also 2 others. One of them contains a fungi-like species. They usually have the second oldest when it comes to their elders, and then another species that mainly takes after flowers. They are normally the youngest when it comes to the age of their elders. I guess their ages would fit more with human ages, I guess, with 100 for them actually being quite old. Most of their elders are around that age, but they can normally reach about 150 if they really try hard enough. Those 3 planets, our 3 planets, they're constantly circling around one another. So it's kind of like each and every one is their own moon, but they're also pulling one another closer, but also pushing one another away with the other, since there's 2 other planets. One is pulling in, the other is pulling out, and it's essentially the same way as going with each and every one of them. So, 3 planets, they're all held together with each other's gravity. But your planets haven't crashed yet. No, I said, shaking my head. No, none of them have crashed yet. I'm about as surprised as you guys. Then again, I know very, very little about how our planets like to work. Well, they should be held together by gravity, said one of them. What the heck is gravity? Sounds like a weird superhero name. Gravity saves the day again, I said jokingly. It's not a superhero name, said one of the scientists, noticeably annoyed. It's when things fall to the ground. It's what keeps planets and other things together. Things attract. They always attract. Is gravity the thing that brings bees to flowers? I asked. No, said one of the scientists. No, it's not. You said it attracts, I said. I tried to act as stupid as possible, even though I understood gravity a whole lot better than the majority of this species I was supposed to show off as. Anyway, eventually, the scientists seemed annoyed with me. All their descriptions of gravity didn't seem to make sense with me, so they tried to put it in simplest terms. But even then, I made it seem as if I didn't understand. Large things, large objects, use gravity to attract smaller objects. Yeah, like the flower and bee explanation I said earlier. I said, bees are smaller than flowers. They get attracted to the flowers, which seems like gravity is doing that. No, that's something else. I find it kind of funny how annoyed these scientists were with my inability to understand gravity. Then they had to ask another question. Oh, never mind.